Hey y'all, Courtney here talking training tips for beginner trail and ultra runners, and today's topic is what's actually more important? Is it miles that you run in your training or time on feet? And what does time on feet even really mean? I'm here to settle that argument today, and I'm going to give you a concrete example of why time on feet is a clear winner. Spoiler alert. So first, let's talk about what time on feet is and really what your training is, right? I know you're going to say, like, look, an ultra is a specific number of miles. I need to be tracking my mileage accumulation week over week in order to know that I can finish this race successfully. That is a fair assumption, right? You are running a certain number of miles in your ultra, but your body doesn't really know what miles are, right? Physiologically, all that your body understands is the stress that you are putting it under for a specific period of time. Great example, 5-mile run. You could run 5 miles in zone 2. That's one level of stress, right? But you could also run 5 miles in tempo or threshold pace, which is putting a lot more stress on your body. So those two things require different amounts of recovery. It's a different kind of stimulus, right? And in our training plans, all that we're really looking to do is to produce a certain training stimulus, ultimately that is challenging, so our body can recover, adapt during recovery, so then we can prepare properly for our ultra. So again, physiologically, first thing you need to remember, bodies don't understand what miles are. Only thing that matters is the training stimulus or the stress that you're putting your body under over time. So that brings us to time on feet. I'll give you an example. Today, I just did an uphill treadmill run in zone 2 for 2 hours, right? Now, a 2-hour run, if I was running outside on maybe rolling terrain, I would accumulate 12 miles easily. Today, I ran 9.25. So if I was using a mileage-based plan only, I would have thought, well, shoot, I'm going to miss my mileage goal for the week because I only ran 9.25 miles. But my body was working under stress, right? I was getting a stimulus for 2 hours, which would be 12 miles outside or on a flatter run or flatter effort. So again, the amount of stress I put my body under was equivalent to a 12-mile run. This is why, if I was going by miles, I might be overtraining. This is where it gets really important because people that are obsessed with mileage accumulation, if they're running on really hilly terrain, saying they're up in the mountains of Colorado, they're like, well, I got to get 16 miles in today, but 16 miles takes them an hour and a half longer than it normally would if they were running on flatter, more rolling terrain. That's going to be a problem, right? Because you're putting your body under too much stress. And ultimately, again, as a coach, I have to say it's not recommended to run over 4 hours because of the additional recovery and injury risk that you're running on your body. So this is why time is super important. And ultimately, as coaches, when we're coaching athletes to prepare for an ultra, all that we're really doing is preparing your body for that particular stimulus and the stress that it's going to go through and for the period of time that you're going to be out on the course. So this is why time on feet, much more important than miles. Again, if you're uncomfortable with the idea, it's totally fine to track both. Track your elevation gain in a spreadsheet just to make sure that you're on track for your plan. But again, when you get into a situation where maybe you have a slower, more hilly run, think time on feet, it's much safer.